Hey guys, Dr. Danny McLane here coming to you from ADIO Chiropractic in Libertyville. And I had a conversation with one of my patients today that I want to share with you because I thought it was really cool, I thought it was really relevant and pertinent to accurate thinking in the clinic. One of the things that we talk about is the different stages of healing, right? They come up and people come in different parts of the phase. Like if you fell and broke your elbow yesterday, it's a lot different than if you fell and broke your elbow 25 years ago or 15 years ago or last year even. I mean, the body heals sort of along these different lines. And really, I like to give you an example of a house, right? So if your house is on fire, who do you call? You call the fire department because they'll come and put the fire out. Well, the next day your house is still burned. Who do you call? Fire department doesn't have nothing to do with it. You call the carpenter, right? So let's talk about the different models with health. If your house is on fire, if you have an emergent condition, it's urgent, it's super important, go to the ER. Their job is to save your life, prevent the loss of life and limb. But the next day, when you don't have that urgent gonna die, right? Like if you're like I've seen this happen, if you're in a rollover car accident, go to the ER, go check it out. Have somebody make sure you're not gonna die from encephalitis or a punctured lung or a cracked skull or whatever else could happen. But after they're done with you and they say, yeah, you're not gonna die, and they send you home, stop here on the way home. Because just like the difference between a fireman and a carpenter, they're both there to help with the house in different ways. My job is quality of life. Can you live the whole rest of your life with a headache? Yeah, it would suck. Oh, yeah, it would suck. And you might not live very well, but you'd be alive. Whose job is that? Fireman, carpenter, chiropractor, right? So my job is quality of life, to make sure that everything's functioning the way that it should. It gets you as best as you possibly can, and to make sure that you're out of pain and it's functional. You don't have to give up on your dreams, because that's usually what happens. I have people ask me like, "Oh man, I feel so great after I get adjusted." What do people do that don't get adjusted? I don't know. They take a lot of pills and don't do much. They can't, if they have pain with their bending, lifting, twisting, walking, running, jogging, they're not going to do any of those things. They're not going to walk through the mall. They're not going to dance. They're not going to go on vacation. They're not going to, if they have a hard time walking from the house to the mailbox because everything hurts, they kind of have to give up on everything that's longer than the house to the mailbox, or standing in the kitchen, or going out with friends, or whatever the case may be. So I don't know what those people do because I don't talk to them. They don't come to the chiropractor. But I can tell you that they don't have a vibrant, healthy quality of life if they genuinely need the care. So the model I give people to help them understand what's going on in the four stages of clinical healing, and I know we started with this, we're going to loop back to it and we'll walk through it. The first step is, if your house is on fire, which one of my favorite sayings is, nobody's worried about washing dishes if the house is on fire. The brain has a priority basis. Like, what's the most important thing? Do that first. And then do the next important things. Like somebody comes in like, my back hurts terribly. Okay, we fix your back. You're like, I don't know, doc, my back feels great, but now my knee's kind of bothering me. So back feels terrible, no knee pain. Back pain's gone, knee's a little bothersome. The back was an 8, the knee is a 2. Guess what? That knee's always been there. It's just that your brain was focusing on the most important thing first and moved through kind of down your laundry list. So you have to make sure that step 1, if the house is on fire, step 1, put the fire out. Take care of the immediate bleeding wound, whatever that might be. Step 2, you have to clear out the damaged debris. So if you strain a muscle, pull a ligament, your body has to go through and get rid of all the debris, all the leftovers, all the broken down stuff. It has to recycle those pieces, clear it out. The next step is you have to get new materials on site. So this is where we start to talk about nutrition. This is where we talk about blood flow. This is where we talk about the swelling and a bunch of the other pieces For example, I had a guy come in. He sprained his ankle really bad, and it swelled up, and because he broke a blood vessel, and all that blood coagulated and kind of just settled into the area. Now that means new blood is going to have a really hard time getting in there because everything's really swollen, so it's high pressure. So the blood pressure is not going to really be able to get a lot of really good circulation in there, and the amount of swelling was there wouldn't let the lymphatic system drain off all the junk. So he's having a hard time clearing out the damage and all the debris. He's stuck in that phase of healing. So that means, clinical mindset, we have to look at what stage of healing he's in. If you are actively damaging something, then we have to get it so that you're not actively damaging that thing anymore. And then we have to, that's putting the fire out. The next step is clear the damage. We have to make sure that your lymphatic system is working, that you're getting good circulation, that we can clear out all the damaged stuff. The next part is to make sure that we get all the good stuff on site. That means circulation. That also means you're getting the right nutrition. I talked to quite a few people that are like, oh yeah, this thing bothers me, that thing. And I ask, well, what do you eat? And they give me a list of things that aren't really food, in the sense that our body needs nutrients more than it needs a lot of extra calories. Anyway, so make sure that you have good nutrition, and there's a lot of different things to talk about when it comes to nutrition. That is a whole huge topic. But once you get the new materials on site, then your body has to go through this rebuilding process. And that's where we talk about things like laser, and we talk about physical therapy, exercise, stretching, immobilization, really making sure that your body is doing the things that it needs to do to help rebuild the tissue. And it might be that we support you through that process where the adjustments and everything else that we're doing don't really make you grow any faster, other than the fact that we prevent you from growing slower. Tissue only heals as much as the neurology lets it, right? Tissue doesn't recover well if it doesn't have a good neurological connection. It's seen all the time with neuropathy patients. That's why people that have diabetes, because it damages the nerves, they have twice the cost, twice the time of healing of the same exact condition compared to somebody who doesn't have diabetes, because sugar damages the nerves, especially in that uncontrolled diabetic scenario. So when we adjust you and we connect nerve flow, it allows your body to heal the way it is supposed to. So then you have to rebuild the new structure. So, and that comes down to structure and function. So structure, you have to make sure all the stuff is there, right? If you're going to build a brick house, you have to have some bricks. Or if you're going to build a wood house, you have to have some wood. But then you have to have direction to organize those materials. So structure, function, what is the function? In the case of a house, it's an architect. You have to have somebody who knows where all the stuff goes and put it back. So the chemistry is really the structure. The neurology is really the function. So when you have structure, function, it builds quality of life. That's literally the formula for quality of life. Structure times function is quality of life. That means if you have fantastic structure, if you have phenomenal blood chemistry, you have all the best nutrients you need, but your nervous system is not functioning properly, you have all the structure, none of the function, your quality of life is going to be pretty poor. Conversely, if you have the most finely tuned nervous system and your biochemistry is garbage, guess what? Terrible structure, great function, no quality of life. The way that you get both, or the way that you get quality of life, is by having both. Make sure that you have great nutrition, make sure that you have properly functioning nervous system, and then you will heal, you will be healthy, and you will have a potential for a great quality of life, provided that you do something with it, right? So you build the world's greatest house because you have the world's greatest bricklayer, and you have the world's greatest bricks, but then nobody lives there. You gotta do something with it. Structure, function, quality of life. That's ultimately the goal. And that's why it's important for us to evaluate properly the 4 stages of clinical healing, to make sure that we put the fire out, clear the damage, get the new materials on site, and then build with them into. So hopefully that makes sense. I know that to me it does, and when I explained it to the patient I talked to today, it made a lot of sense, and it really helps to frame it so that you're comfortable and you're patient and you participate properly in your healthcare. So that's it for today. Thank you very much. Stay tuned. Drop a comment below if you have anything you'd like to say about this.